So, welcome again. This is Caro's Kitchen, cooking with me, Caro. Today we'll be making pork shoulder, roasted pork shoulder. So you can see our pork shoulder is about between 5 to 7 pound shoulder. We will use to season it. These are all the things you're gonna need. Of course, you're gonna need your roaster. You're gonna need your signature sofrito. It's something that we usually use. 2 packets of sazon. This will gives it some seasoning and of course the color, the red color. The Goya jamon, it gives it like a smoky taste. Cilantro leaves, pepper, ginger, the adobo, and lemon juice. Lemon juice helps it cut a little bit of the fat. And after we season it all, we will cover it up completely with aluminum foil to keep all the steam inside the roaster. And of course, always remember to preheat your oven to 375. Okay, and let's get started. So now after you're done washed your pork shoulder, the first thing you're going to do is add your lemon juice. You're going to add a nice amount of lemon juice, not only to the skin but also to the bottom of it. You add it into your bowl. This helps it stick to the seasoning as well as gives it a nice lemony flavor. Now you're going to add your seasoning, which is adobo. I add a lot of adobo because I don't poke holes into my pork. I don't like to do that. I feel like it takes away from the fattiness that will seep into the meat after we start shredding it up. Okay, now we're adding ginger. I have the amount of ground ginger. Now we'll add our ground pepper. A nice amount of ground pepper. Even though adobo already has a little bit of it, I like to add a little bit more. It gives it a nice peppery flavor. And cilantro. I like cilantro because I like the way it tastes. And I like the way it looks after it's already shredded up, the little green leaves. So I add a nice amount of that. Next, we'll add the sazon. I'll add one on one side and one on the other. You could really just use one, but I prefer to use two. I just like the way it looks and the way it tastes. So I'll add one on this side. And one whole pack of the jamon smoked ham. The Goya kind or any other kind, doesn't matter as long as it has a smoky ham flavor. And last but not least, add half of your sofrito right on top. The other half we'll use it for when we turn it on. Of course, you're going to use your hands. If you don't use your hands, the pork won't take in the seasoning as well. You try to coat it as much as possible from all sides, especially the skin, because you can use this to make chicharrones. And that's something that I will show you guys how to do after the pork is already cooked. So now you flip it over. It's already seasoned on this side, so you just go like this and add the rest of your sofrito and add the other pack of your sazon. You add it completely. As you can see now, it starts getting really red. Of course, when you put it in the oven, it will turn a little bit white, but it also helps it with it turning into a darker color. I personally don't like eating white. I personally don't like eating white pork or pork that looks pale, especially pork shoulder. And like I said, the sofrito, you're going to keep it. If you look inside the bowl, you see it has a liquid inside of it. That liquid, we're going to use it again. We're going to pour it right on top of it once we put it in our roaster. And this will keep it from drying out as well as seasoning it at the same time. So now your pork shoulder is already seasoned all over. You can either season this the night before, 2 nights before, the same day before you cook it. I forgot to season it personally, so I'm just going to season it now and I'm going to cook it now. A pork shoulder like this it'll take about 3.5 to 4 hours to cook at 375. Cover it up. Uncovered, you can uncover it the last hour and so it could get some kind of color. Now you grab the last bit of your sofrito seasoning that you had in the bowl and you just pour it right on top. At the end, you can use this to make gravies. You can use this just to baste your pork. Yes, I said baste. You can baste your pork. And it will help it give it a nice flavor. Now what we're going to do is, after it's already on our roaster, we can use a roasting pan I usually use a roasting pan because it helps it with the oils and greases fall to the bottom, and I can use it as a baster. Or you can also just leave it inside the pan. Make sure that when you're going to cover it, you cover it completely, all edges, so all the steam stays inside of it and it helps it cook faster. Some people usually cook it uncovered. I prefer it covered up because I feel like it cooks faster, it doesn't dry up, and all around it gives it a good flavor, and it's less messy as well. So make sure you cover it up all the way around, as tight as you can. You can either leave it like this, put it in the refrigerator, like I said, for a day or two, and then cook it, or you can just cook it like I'm going to do now. This, like I said, this is a pork shoulder about 3.5, about between 3 and 7 pound pork shoulder. I put it on the top rack, and I let it go for about 3.5 hours, and I do not open the oven, I do not check on it for 3.5 hours at 375. We'll be back.